Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the May 12th meeting of the St. Mary's County Planning Commission. There are two sign-up sheets in the foyer for tonight's hearing. One is for all attendees. The other one is specifically for those who wish to speak during a case. If you plan to speak or would like to receive any follow-up information related to these cases, please be sure to sign in on the appropriate sheet. And I thank you for your participation. Please note that this meeting is being recorded as part of the public record. All comments made must be captured on record. Therefore, if you wish to speak, you must do so at one of the microphones provided. Comments, questions, or responses must be directed to the board. The board will then address and refer them to the appropriate person for a response. Please keep your remarks to 3 minutes or less. Anyone wishing to testify or ask questions during our public hearings will be required to take an oath. When speaking, please speak clearly and directly into the microphone. Lastly, we kindly ask you to silence all your cell phones at this time to avoid disruptions. Thank you. On our agenda this evening, after a review and approval of our minutes, we have two cases. There it is. On board tonight. Our first will be our transportation plan update from the Department of Public Works and Transportation. Following that, we have a concept site plan 24-0428 for the Dunkin' Donuts concept site plan, and they are requesting an approval of a concept site plan for 1,861 square foot Dunkin' Donuts with a 704 square foot outdoor seating area for a restaurant, followed by any new business and adjournment. I'll let the board members introduce yourselves, starting on my left.
Good evening, Judy Filius.
Good evening, Lynn Delahaye.
Patty Robrack.
Howard Thompson.
Joe Van Kirk.
Jay Cousineau.
Connor Lochran.
Also with us this evening from the Department of Land Use and Growth Management, we have their Deputy Director, Brandy Glenn, her planner, Sean Lay Blasco, and her planning specialist, Senior Planning Specialist, Megan Higgs Carter. Also with us this evening, our Deputy County Attorney, Mr. John Sterling Hauser, the Director of Department of Public Works and Transportation, Jim Gotch, and Donnie Mills, his Assistant Director. We have Anna Wells is here from the St. Mary's County Metropolitan Commission, and our video media producer this evening is Andrew Beckman. Did everybody get a chance to review the minutes?
Yes.
Any corrections? Can I have a motion to accept?
Motion to accept.
Okay, let me see. I'll pick from Lynn. She was the loudest. I have a second from
Second.
Then I have a second from Judy. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Moving right along. Let's see. Mr. Hauser, I'm a little rusty on this one. Do I need to, since this is a public hearing for the transportation plan, do I need to give the oath?
Yeah, since it is a public hearing and testimony, such as will be required,
Okay.
best to administer the oath.
Anybody that will be speaking or giving testimony during the transportation plan, if you'd stand at this time and I'll get you sworn in. Do you declare and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony, responses, and statements you may give will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Come right on up here, Mr. Gotch, Mr. Mills.
Okay, I'm going to try and do this quickly, being an hour. It was 2 hours last time, so.
We're not requiring you to meet that requirement.
Brandy's going to start flipping slides if I'm getting
Yeah.
long-winded.
All right, you keep up with Brandy then, okay?
All right, so we were here in September last year. We did a presentation of this. There's 3 new members on the board. So 2 members, new? 3? Might be 3. Anyhow, so we're doing this again. We're doing it as a public hearing tonight. Last time was just a presentation. So it's the same plan that most of you have seen before. We had one comment the last time about adding level of service when we get to a chart in the presentation for the county's level of service, which is now included in the chart. So the purpose of the transportation plan is we update this for the state, and it's required, if we want to get funding from the state, it's required that the funding we're requesting is in this transportation plan. So that's why we're doing this. Much of this data we collected was 2022, so it's starting to get old. We have a lot of the things that are on the list we've actually already accomplished, so we're making progress. We have the county reviewed this in 23, 24, back and forth with the consultant, us making comments, the consultant making changes. And that's when we brought that to you September of last year. Our consultant is Brutus and Associates. Let's see. So what we're asking for tonight is for the Planning Commission to allow us to proceed to the commissioners and make the same presentation to the commissioners. All right, let's scroll. Hit page 1. Yeah, there we go. So the St. Mary's County Transportation Plan, we have a whole range of different roadways, different levels of transportation that we need to provide. So it starts off by saying we're rural, but we have an Air Force or a Navy base here, so we not everything is rural. We do have horse and buggy. We do have a lot of old roads that were built in the 1700s and 1800s that we're trying to improve. We have a presentation to the commissioners tomorrow or I gave something for the commissioners tomorrow for some of the roads that we need to improve from the 1700s, 1800s, $60 million. So
Wow.
we're an old county, and we need to make some improvements. All right, so our transportation plan, we're supposed to develop an interconnected roadway system, transit, trails, and a trail network. Supposed to evaluate proposed transportation improvement projects or develop new ones. Enhance pedestrian and bicycle opportunities, which we've really been trying to do in the Lexington Park area. And then maintain and enhance a roadway network, with safety being the major concern. So we have upped our budget from when I first got here at $3 million a year for pavement overlays and repairs to roadways. We're up to $6 million right now.
That's
So
six.
we're actually in a place where we're maintaining, overlaying a road every 20 years or so. So that's gotten really better. Does my mouse work? I can keep scrolling down for you if you want. So who's involved in this plan? It was Public Works and Transportation. It's the Calvert St. Mary's Metropolitan Planning Organization. I'll probably just say MPO from now on. Lugum IT Department was involved in this. Department of Economic Development. Brutus had community meetings and public surveys. And then through the Department of Public Works and Transportation, the transportation side of our department, they had a TAC, Transportation Advisory Committee, had a subcommittee that would meet every few weeks. And then we went through all the public comments that were developed while they were writing the report, and they prioritized all the comments. And then they came back to us and they said, here is our recommendation to Public Works, what we think you should take down first. All right. So we have, the only thing on this page, we have 1,625 roads, about 1,300 lane miles of roadways that we manage and maintain. I don't know. If we maintain our road system, we're up to $6 million, I was saying. If we maintain our road system, it actually costs us less money to maintain the roads in a good working order than it does to actually let them fall into disrepair, and then we have to rip out the road and replace it. So we try to keep everything in good working order. All right, this one is where we start to get to the actual nuts and bolts of how our highway system is working. The map, even though you can't see it, has traffic counts for each of the roadways. It's on the GIS, so if you wanted to see it, you could get to the GIS and see traffic counts. But this is where we start talking about vehicles per day, traffic, average daily traffic, and levels of service. And I'm going to show you a chart in a couple pages. So we're looking for roads that we need to upgrade, deficiencies in our network. We're looking for, part of this plan is a 20-year plan, so it takes us out to 2045. Looking at existing forecast and what we would need to improve as Public Works in the next 20 years. And the good news is it's really all state roads that are going to start failing, not the county roads. Okay, so level of service, we talk about that in a lot in here. We're looking at factors such as speed, travel time, freedom to maneuver, traffic interruptions, comfort and convenience. You go from level of service A to a level of service F. Level of service A is more like a free-flowing road back in the old section of Route 5. Level of service F is if you're trying to get through the 4 and 235 light at rush hour. And ironically, State Highway labels that as level service E, I think. Okay, so this map is showing where we have problems, where we experience congestion, where improvements are required. It's state highways. We also did a plan that was the road to zero deaths through the state. Also, another plan that we had to implement for us to get funding from the state. And so the roads that are congested just so happen to be the same roads that are the most unsafe road network. So that's 235 and 5 all the way down from the Charles County line through Lexington Park through Gate 2, basically. Route 5 in Leonardtown, 246 Great Mills Road, and Chancellor's Run Road 237. Peg Road is the only county road that makes the dangerous road list. And the level of service E or F, the only place you see that is Maryland Route 4, Maryland Route 5 in Leonardtown and Great Mills, and then 235 in California. Charlotte Hall was on the list for a little bit when they changed the striping at 5 and 6, and the highway they're changing it back, so you can make two lanes turn left on northbound 235. So that improved the level of service. I think it was back to a C, and I think that's what everybody's operating on. There's been some plans that show improvements on eastbound 6 as well. Okay, so here's the chart where we start to show the level of service. There's 2 level of service columns. You got morning and peak, but what we have is the AM level of service. That's what State Highway, how they do their level of service. So they use the like a computer-based modeling system to where they've got movement of the cars and each of the lanes and making turns at the intersections. The second column that says CLV, that's the county's criteria. So the county just looks at the number of lanes in the road and do the cars fit in that many lanes. So what I said before was the county, we don't have the expertise or the staff to do a detailed, we don't have a highway department like State Highway does. So we're looking at more like arithmetic. State Highway's looking at calculus is the difference. But this chart, this was the chart last time where we had a comment that said, if we have the intersection data from local reports or traffic studies done for the county, add that data into the chart. So you'll see it's in the chart. And more often than not, the way the county computes the level of service, we actually have a lower level of service than state highway model shows. I'm just going to blow through the chart unless you guys have questions.
So Jim, you're saying if the state had a C, the way you calculate it could be a D.
It
Yours
could
is
be.
worse. Okay.
Right, and what I had mentioned before was, and it's come up in the planning commission before, if you are in the development district, Lexington Park, Great Mills, California, and you have a level of service D, everybody's okay with that. If you go into one of the town centers and you have a level of service D, State Highway says, no problem, you're okay, no improvements needed, but the county ordinance says, the zoning ordinance says, we have to make improvements. So the state highway allows us to make county road improvements sometimes that will actually benefit their road. So FDR, a lot of FDR pulls traffic off of 235. If you watch the meeting that the commissioners had with the Navy, we were talking about FDR. We've got before COVID, 60-some thousand trips on 235. That dropped during COVID. After COVID, like right now, we're back up to 63,000 trips. And it's like, okay, well, we're just starting to get back to pre-COVID levels. Well, that's not true because there's also 21,000 trips on FDR Boulevard. So the state has allowed us to put money into FDR Boulevard because basically it's pulling traffic off of their roadway and making their roadway work better. And that's part of what we kept saying we're pushing. We want to make the intersection, the north intersection to FDR in 235, a full signalized intersection. So we can take people on FDR and miss the 4 and 235 light and pull people out of that intersection. That would help that signal greatly. And then one day, one of the things Donnie and I were looking at is we want to connect, make a fourth leg of Wildwood Parkway and connect that through all the way to FDR Boulevard. That would pull people off the FDR and Route 4 intersection. So there's a lot of information that we have planned, a lot of road improvements that are shown in this report that we have planned. All right, the next section is talking about accident or crash data, accident data. We get a lot of information on the accidents. It explains what, but not why. So a lot of the accident data that we see is not really helpful for us planning. Sometimes someone from the sheriff's department could call us up and tell us, hey, if you would change this, it would make the road safer. But that communication doesn't usually exist. It's gotten better, but it's almost non-existent still. So we can see if a crash was a head-on or a side crash, but it doesn't tell you if speed was involved, drugs, alcohol, anything like that. I mentioned before we did the Road to Zero Deaths, what's called the Local Roadway Safety Plan. The 60 miles that I said were the most dangerous, 235 and 5 going up to the line, 5 in Leonardtown, 5 in Great Mills Road and Chancellor's Run and Peg. That's 60 miles, 72% of the killed or seriously injured crashes happen on that road. So when we get into bike paths and sidewalks and that sort of thing, we're not encouraging any bike traffic on those roadways. We're looking for alternative routes. That's why we get FDR and the bike travel on FDR instead of 235. We're looking to establish a corridor parallel to Great Mills Road as well. And then here's the accident data. If you count up the number of accidents, you can see it matches. You get 5, 235, 237, and 246 are the highest crashes. Okay. All right, so that's a buggy network picture. There are buggy networks that are actually not on the county roads, that they have their own road network system. Up in Charlotte Hall, definitely. So a direct relationship exists between traffic congestion and crash frequency. If we can get traffic free-flowing, we avoid a lot of rear-end collisions. Everybody braking hard. Okay, so the things that we can do to make improvements are install roundabouts, roadway shoulder widening, traffic calming, signage, pavement markings, advance warnings, traffic signals, sidewalks, and crosswalks. So we've been doing a lot of sidewalks, a lot of crosswalks. We've got two new crosswalks, taking Wildwood across to the Aldi. And we've got the crosswalk that we just installed down near Gate 2 across at Great Mills Road. The roundabouts, they really improve safety. There's points of conflict. When you pull up to an intersection and you got to look left, you got to look right, you got to look for pedestrians, you got to look for bicycles, you got to look for the oncoming traffic. There's 32 points of conflict at it when you pull up to an intersection. When you put a roundabout in, it drops it to 8. That's why roundabouts really help reduce the number of crashes. Are you coughing because I'm going too long?
I wasn't coughing.
We have about 8 to 10 buggy crashes every year. All right, so on trails and linkages, we've got several partners that we're working with, like the 3-Notch Trail. That's Recreation and Parks. That's not really the Public Works and Transportation. It's Rec and Parks. We also work with Frank Allen. He's Patuxent Tidewater Land Trust, but there's also a second group he's with that's called SMARTA, and that's, I had to write it down, Southern Maryland Active Recreation and Transportation Alliance, and then also the Tri-County Council. They have a bicycle infrastructure advisory committee. So those groups work together, and they also come to us and make suggestions. This is what we'd like to see the county do. One of the things they're working on, they're looking for grant money to fix, 5 and 4 at the bottom of the hill there. If you're coming down on a bicycle, you lose any shoulder right at that spot. So they're trying to get an alternate pathway through there, looking at the same thing, doing the same thing for going through Leonardtown as well on a bicycle. I'm just going to keep going. All right, we've got transit services, so our STS system. We're averaging in the wintertime now close to 16,000 trips on the bus. It gets heavier in the summertime, and it keeps going up each year. If the commissioners hold the fare free coming July 1st, then we're expecting to see about a 30% increase in the number of riders or number of trips. We have our STS system. We have a fixed route service. We have an ADA service where you can ride on the fixed route bus. The bus will deviate 3/4 of a mile to pick up an ADA patient. So if you're an ADA patient, you don't have to make it to the bus stop. And then we have a paratransit service, which is, we call it SSTAP. It's a statewide specialized transportation assistance program. What that does, that's more for senior citizens and people with disabilities, a lot of dialysis patients you'll see on the SSTAP program. So that's more of a one-on-one service where we take a bus and go to pick up a passenger, and then we might pick up several passengers, or maybe half a dozen passengers on a bus at a time, but we're going house to house picking up those individuals, taking them to their appointments. We need drivers, though. If any of you guys are retired and want to drive a bus, come on, man, we need you. Part of the reason we're going fare-free is the funding from the state highway, or MTA. We have available to us about $1 million in state funding. We qualify for 400,000 based on the number of trips that we have. So if we can increase ridership, the cost, the money that we get from the state, we're hoping will just offset the money that the commissioners were putting in this year to go fare-free. All right, I've got 10 fixed routes. That's the SDS route plan. One of the things we're working on now is we changed over from the flag stops where you wave the bus down to the fixed bus stop locations, just trying to improve safety for the passengers. We've done that. We were looking to install bus shelters. We have 5 locations. We were investigating 11 locations. It's hard to get somebody to agree to have a bus shelter in your front yard. So of the 11 sites that we were looking at, we got 5 to commit to say yes. We've got 3 of the pads in already. The shelters are on order. We've got another 2 pads that should be going in as soon as the easements get signed. So we're getting close to having some shelters down in the Lexington Park area. Going to switch over to the airport. And still working on the paving the runway extension. That's not paved yet. We haven't had the best team on the field for the contractor. So we're making a change midstream, and we're going to try, the county's going to take over the paving and work directly with the asphalt companies.
Of all the roads that they're doing now, or just the airport?
No, this is the runway.
Runway.
The runway. Sorry, I brought my Mountain Dew up here in case I... Okay, we also are working at the airport on eVTOL. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's electric vertical takeoff and landing. So you will have like a quadcopter drone that's a passenger drone. So soon you'll be able to go on your phone, on your app, like calling an Uber, reserve your spot on the passenger drone and fly over to, if you want to go to Ocean City or wherever you want to go. You can reserve your spot. They'll drop you off in a parking lot. They'll come back and get you at the end of the day. I said, I'll be the first one. I'll do it. So there's a network that's flying up the East Coast, and then it jumps off. I don't remember if it's Philadelphia, New Jersey, wherever it is. It goes across to the Midwest now. Wow. And we're trying to get into that network so that we can be a recharging station. But they have eVTOL, they have eSTOL, which is short takeoff and landing, then a eCTOL, which is conventional. But all these are going to be electric. So you're going to have planes that are electric that are coming in. So we'll have a charging station from Smecco next to the terminal. One day when we expand to the north, the goal is to move the electric charging over to the north taxiway. At the airport, we have, there's a list of things on page 21 of what's at the airport. But one of the important things is we've got the Maryland State Police helicopter in Trooper 7 in MedStar there. So we have helicopter service for patients that we basically give them a free rental at the airport just so that we can keep them located in St. Mary's County. And I said before, if you haven't been to Bird Dog Bistro, go check out Bird Dog Bistro for lunchtime, Tuesdays through Saturday.
That's at the airport?
Oh, on that page, we're working on our airport master plan update. That's a 2025 update that's gonna happen. This one talks about electric vehicle infrastructure plan. One day, we're gonna have to switch to a electric, or I hope hydrogen comes before we have to go electric. Thank you, Brandy.
She cough again?
She's scrolling for me. Okay, this, getting into chapter 3, we're talking about the traffic projections. So it's basically WashCog's projections of what the traffic increase is going to be. And we're going out to 2045. All right, let's keep going. So this is a map of 2045 where the traffic is going to be. It's going to be congested. Anything you see in pink or red is where the congestion is, and it's basically the state roads. The county roads are okay. We might have to do upgrades on some of the county roads. We'll take care of that. The ones that are county that are showing up red or pink, Golden Beach Road, New Market Turner Road, Peg Road, and everything else is state. And they're projecting that based on a 40% increase in traffic. Hopefully, we'll be taking quadcopter drones instead. All right. This is just telling us state highways are going to become congested. All right, so now we're starting to get into the table is a no-build failing roadway lengths. So if we don't do anything to the roads in the next 20 years, here's a list of roads that are going to be failing. And if you go down the list, everything is a state highway except New Market Road. Oh, no, sorry, that's 6. North Shangri-La Drive, which we just made improvements to. And that was overlay and restriping. We're adding bicycle capability on that roadway. Oh, and one other thing, when we get FDR extended to Peg Road, that should happen about next summer, about this time next year. We'll be wrapping things up. That's going to be the first county-owned traffic signal in St. Mary's County. And we're leasing that out to the state to maintain for us. All right, so we're getting into operations. If you drive down near the base, you saw them last week changing over some of the signal heads to smart signals. So you won't have to wait as long on off times. It will change the signal for you. We've been asking for that for a long time. My request was when they did the base closure that one time, it took 9 hours to get off the base. Is there a way you can change the signal? Somebody in Hanover can flip the switch, turn them green, clear the base. And so this will help. All right. And here, the consultant mentions that we're going to have to coordinate and collaborate with state holder, or state highway and federal highway to get projects done that we're going to have to contribute. What that means is state highway has no funding. If you want to do it county, you got to pay for it. So what we're trying to do at 4 and Wildwood Parkway and at Piney Point Road, elevating the road out of the floodplain, what we're trying to do at FDR Boulevard at 235. Right now, the county's putting the money in. State Highway is looking for money, but they don't have it right now. Okay, so chapter 5 was all the different plans or reports that are out there that are making suggestions on what the county should do for improvements. So we had the 2006 transportation plan. That's what this is updating. It would be the update of that plan. There's a list of roads they wanted improved. Some of the things we've done. Some of the things are on our state highway priority letter. We submit a priority letter every April 1st to State Highway, and then they decide whether they have money to fix it or not. Right now, there's not much money. Let's see. Yeah, so this list was, everything on the list on the bottom of the chart is on our priority letter. There's the MPO Long Range Transportation Plan. There was a comp plan that's being updated right now, and transportation is part of the comp plan update. There's a 2040 Maryland Transportation Plan, and then MPO Complete Streets. And so this is the list of improvements that they had previously. Some of these we've actually knocked off. Some of them won't happen because there's been changes in the county, and we have some actually actively under design. Then we have the new Lexington Park Development District Master Plan. Innovative District Master Plan, and Maryland Highway Strategic Highway Safety Plan. I'm doing better. I'm gonna flip through there. Okay, we've got with the MPO, the Navy base multimodal study. That's a new plan that was they were just looking at, the base was looking at improving traffic to their base. So we have pedestrian improvements that went between Gate 1 and Gate 2. That's the sidewalks all complete. We've got the crosswalk coming over to where the Royal Farm is now. The Royal Farm expanded their sidewalk up front, so it would be at minimum of 10 feet wide to get over to Tulagi Place where the bus depot is, so that you could get on a pedestrian or a bicycle could get to the depot and then get onto the Navy base and be able to get bikes on the Navy base. We've got in the works, we want to extend Tulagi Place down to Willows Road, which would connect up to South Shangri-La that we just made improvements to. So that would be the beginning of the parallel bicycle network to 246. You'd be able to get from 235 all the way down. It would stop a little bit short of the shopping center. I can't think of the name of the shop. St. Mary's Square.
Where?
Yeah, and the county owns right away to get down there, so that network is starting. Okay, we had public engagement. Again, the consultant was Brutus and Associates, and they talked with Public Works, the MPO, LUGM, IT, DED, Economic Development, community meetings, and our Transportation Advisory Committee. So all those groups gave input, the citizens gave input, and there was a list that was developed of here's the improvements that we would like you to make. And so over the next few pages, there's just improvements, and we organized these improvements based on where they were, what type of improvement they were asking for and where in the county. Some of these we actually have already completed. see. The one I said before, the town is even getting money from State Highway to improve the sidewalk or extend the sidewalk all the way out to Leonard's Grant and Meadows at Town Run. We've got a couple roundabouts that are under design. We've got a roundabout at Wildwood Parkway and Wildwood Boulevard. We have a roundabout that's under design at Hague Road and Westbury. And I think I've mentioned to you guys before, we're trying two different things. So this is really Donnie pushing this. We have every year or every few years, we can renew a contract. We have a bid for a rental contractor. This year, it happens to be Great Mills Trading Post. So we can design a roundabout, send a roundabout out to an engineer. They can design a roundabout, take a couple years, and then we give it to the contractor, go out for bids on the contract, and they go construct it. What we're trying to do is go with one of our rental contract engineers and rental contract contractors. So Trading Post tells us, put a stake in the center of the roundabout, we'll build the roundabout for you. So we're looking to save money for the county. So what Donnie's come up with, using the rental contract for both the engineering and for the construction, is going to save the county about $1 million per roundabout. So.
You call them rental contractors?
Yeah, it's because the contract that we have with them each year is a unit price contract. So if I have curb, this is how much a curb costs per linear foot. This is how much asphalt costs per ton, that sort of thing. So when we come up with a plan for them to build, all they're doing is estimating materials. We already got the price of those materials, and so it just makes the bidding easy and quick. Bike lanes, sidewalks, we're trying to add those. It's just, again, more of the comments that we received through the public. And then we get down to the recommendations. So the next few pages are the recommendations from the consultant, Brutus. So they've come up with a list of projects that we should be working on the next few pages. Some of the work is state highway work. A lot of the work is state highway work, and it will be on our priority list to the state requesting funding. We've had 2 years where the state hasn't really had any funding. So Route 5 at the bottom of the hill of Great Mills Road, from Great Mills Road over to Indian Bridge Road 471. That was supposed to be widened. State Highway pulled the funding off of that. They've just restored the funding for the utilities, meaning the money for the road work is gonna come back. They wouldn't upgrade the utilities if the money for the road wasn't gonna come back, but we haven't seen anything yet that tells us when. And then we've got projects in here like the extension. Some of it is the fourth leg at Wildwood Parkway, the dance studio where we work at Public Works. It's really hard to get out onto Route 4. It's not a good, there's no good way to get out on the road today. So we're trying to get the fourth leg to get a signal into, or the road from Wildwood Parkway into the shopping center where the dance studio is. That's private property. We don't own it. We're trying to talk to the owner about how could we make improvements. And so if that happens, I think it helps everybody. And we've got a willing developer, but I don't know. It's just early in the process. Yeah, if you see any of these projects that you want to ask about, hit us up. We've got roundabout suggestions in here. Almost every one of it's intersection improvements on county roads is what they label it. Almost every one of those is a proposed roundabout.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
That car wash is almost done there. The
Yes.
new one, the Able House Road extension that's going in through there. Is that going to come online with that? I know there was going to be a little connector in there.
Yes. It will come over to California Boulevard. Had a hard time with California Boulevard. The county commissioners accepted California Boulevard into our maintenance system. State Highway hasn't released it to us yet. That's been at least a year. They're waiting on stormwater as-bills. It's like, come on, give us the road. Because the shopping center with the Sweet Frog and the Longhorn, they want to make a connection over to California Boulevard too. So once we own the road, those connections will get approved. Otherwise, they have to go through the state highway process of getting an access permit. And they're just waiting for us.
Thank you.
And we're trying to get interparcel connectors from California Boulevard through all those shopping centers all the way over to the Honda dealership. There's a few properties left that will be undeveloped, or the old houses still on them, that will have interparcel connectors pointed at each other, but not built yet. And then we've got a lot of bicycle and pedestrian improvements that are suggested. We've been working on those as much as we have funding for. But they got a lot of those. And then I want to get back to the Transportation Advisory Committee. So the TAC met either in this room or in room 14, the old commissioner's room, every couple of weeks. And we went through everything that's a suggestion in this report, and they prioritized what they would recommend, since they're a subcommittee of Public Works and Transportation, what they would like to see. So the next pages are going to come in sideways, but this was their list. So if there was road improvement projects, there might be 20 road improvement projects in the transportation plan. They just picked the top 3, top 4, top 5 of each category and said, take these down. If you finish these, we'll give you a new list. So they came up with a list for us on each of the categories. So I've got roads, bikes, signals, traffic circles, roundabouts, signs, trail projects, sidewalk and crosswalk projects, and then just a other category. And then public transportation projects, STS. So that's our plan. I beat last time by an hour.
50 minutes.
But we have, we'll answer any questions you got on the book. And then I guess we get any public comments as well.
Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I was going to ask, as you were going through it, how are the priorities established? I heard Public Works, you'll put your inputs in, and then it sounds like this on Chapter 7, there's another group that puts inputs in. So is it kind of an amalgamation of what
Exactly.
different groups want?
Yep, exactly. But ultimately, we're going to pick the list because some of the roads that we need to upgrade, we may not have the right-of-way that we need to upgrade the road. So there's things that we're going to know that we need that we can't get.
Yeah.
And so our problem is we design improvements. It's you go meet with homeowners or HOAs and say, we would like to do this. And everybody says, oh, no problem. So then you go design it, and then they say, I don't want to sign that. So it's like, well, we can't build anything. We can't help you if you don't give us the right of way. So we've been very successful in getting right of way for FDR Boulevard. Some other places we're trying to, I have a list of non-compliant roads that we sent to the commissioners that we're down to 88 non-compliant roads now. And, number one, Laurel Grove Road up in the north. And just can't get the right of way, cannot get the right of way without going to condemnation. So, you want to work on number one, but you have to go to number two. So some of the lists with the Transportation Advisory Committee, I sat with them every week. So it's their priorities are more accurate because they know what we can and can't do.
Gotcha. Okay. May I ask about Mattapani? That is one of our oldest roads. What is it, a 1700 road? Most of it's been fixed, except if you're coming from 235, once you go down the hill and hit College area, it's a mess. Is that on the list anywhere? Any priority?
Yes, it is. You want to explain?
It is. With one of the holdups on that project is relocation of the utilities. So there was power poles really close to the road. Took us a little while sorting out. You would think, oh, there's a pole, we know who owns it. Not necessarily. But anyway, we've got that ironed out. It's just a matter of trying to get the utility companies to, the new poles are there. Now it's change all the wires from one pole to the other. And then, as you know, that is historic area.
Yep.
So that project is it's what we call like a wedge and level project. So we are elevating everything for the roadway to the minimum height that we can raise it so that we don't disturb
Yeah.
dirt beyond
Beyond that road?
the least amount of dirt. So we've done everything we can to have it be a no excavation project. So there is one little piece where we got to tie in a retaining wall. So that work will be done, but we're just going to take that dirt, move it out of the way, put the wall in, and the dirt will stay.
Gotcha.
There's no dirt coming off that project at all, so any artifacts will stay there. But it is, I don't want to give you a deadline because it should have been 4 years ago, but
Yeah.
it's been quite the process.
Verizon. I'll just say it out loud.
Okay.
So the road will get just a hair wider, but it's got to stay almost on the same alignment, and it'll smooth out a little bit of the
Yeah, it's
up
the,
and down, just a little bit. I mean, we can't do much because of everything historic around it.
I understand. And I had one more question. The STS buses, the 16,000 trips, that you mentioned, what is the ridership, like bodies-wise? Do we have a number for that?
No, that's like 16,000 riders.
Oh, 16,000 riders,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So, gotcha, thank you.
Yeah, so one of the things we want to do is switch from a needs-based riding system to a want-based riding system. So if in 2045, the roads, state highways are as bad as they say, it would be great to jump on a STS bus,
Okay, thank you.
and if we go fare-free, everybody can ride for free.
I appreciate you keeping FDR and 4 as a higher priority than a lot of things. That'll even help y'all. That strip between, I'll say, y'all shop, Wildwood Boulevard, on down. Whenever that gets, because it chokes up there and then it just backs up into that single lane. And I'm sure y'all I haven't been around there. I stay away from there at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but I'm sure y'all have a good time
Avoid it.
getting out of there. But appreciate you.
Hours, tough, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you keeping that one.
But
up top.
when we do traffic counts on FDR Boulevard every year, So the traffic on FDR on the 2-lane section where it's, before it goes to the 4-lane. So the 2-lane by the animal shelter now has more trips than Chancellor's Run Road and also has more trips than Route 4 from FDR to Leonardtown.
Wow.
It's, that 2-lane road has taken more traffic than some of the 4-lane roads we have. So it's moving cars. It might back up at rush hour, but it's moving some cars.
Good job. Thank you. Anybody else have anything?
I just have one question. On Route 243, I saw here where that is a priority. It's probably a lower priority. When they go across McIntosh, it always floods there when it rains. But if you go to the other end, on the end of Bayside, it floods there too. And there's several low spots. Will they address Bayside at any point?
That Bayside would be us, and that is on our list, yes.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, even, it looks like drainage may be an issue, ditch-wise. I don't know who does that.
It is. It's a narrow right-of-way through there, so we would have to acquire property to be able to make improvements. And that's just tied to budget.
Yeah. they're
But
gonna-
yeah, that Bayside is on our list to get a second way out that, if there's a big flood.
I mean, there's 3 low spots, if you.
Yeah, the very first one is within the tidal reach. So you got all those environmental components. We've looked at that, what that elevation needs to be, so it can remain passable without going through the water. People actually go through the water now,
Oh,
to get out.
Oh.
They certainly can't get out the other way.
time.
Yeah. So we've looked at that, at how high we can make that road. We do have some difficulties staying, not impacting the environmental protected area. So it's not impossible, but it's gonna take a little while to get it all done and approved, to get that done. But we have started that process.
I noticed that
We're
they're
not
getting
ready
ready-
for permits or nothing.
I noticed they're getting ready to pave. They've already done the rough work this week. But, it is a safety issue because Breton Bay and St. Clement Shores, they have to go out the back way. And they're already running through 3 different places of water, aside from McIntosh, if they went, 243 if they did that. So thank you for looking at that.
Yeah, and things like this, identifying it in some plan or something like this is gonna help you on the grant funding side. So we tried that about probably 4 years ago, I think. We tried a grant and it didn't, we weren't awarded anything, but we did try it on there. But I think things like this will help getting that to where we need it in a plan. We've identified it, we've let them know, and then hopefully we can get in touch with the right, and find the right grant that's gonna fit the project best.
And we have a hard time with grants too, because not only just getting the grant, but actually finishing the work in the grant time period, because, I'll throw another name out, Critical Area Commission. When you hit the Critical Area Commission, all bets are off. You've got MDE and the title program, you've got the Critical Area Commission. Anytime you've got to deal with state agencies, we've been trying to protect Piney Point for as long as I've been here, and we finally got all the permits. We're going to construction, but it took over, I don't know, probably 10 years to get to that point.
Is that for the St. George's Island area, when you said Piney Point?
The museum down in there,
Oh, yeah.
that's washing away. We're losing frontage.
10
Anybody
years.
else have anything?
Good.
Seeing as how it's a public hearing, I have to open it up to public testimony, see if there's anybody that has any comments they want to make this evening. Now would be your chance. Don't worry, Mr. Gotch, you're good to go. Okay, seeing that don't have anybody, I'll go ahead and close it, public testimony. It's a fine transportation plan, sir.
It's a-
You know, gotta see,
Great plan.
gotta see information. Are you staying for the next hearing?
No,
You're not?
Donnie's all in.
Okay.
On his face.
Okay. Well, first I'll need a motion to.
Oh, for the Dunkin' Donuts hearing? Yes,
Yes.
I'm staying for that one. I thought you were talking about going to the commissioners with the transportation plan. No, the commissioners are all Donnie.
No, you got a reprieve from the governor on that one. Turn the switch off.
I
Okay.
do want to say, I've seen other transportation plans. This is a very good transportation plan. It covers, I mean, even when I had to chuckle when I saw the buggy network, to address all of those things, because it is an impact. Accidents do happen when you're trying to avoid the horse and buggies and stuff. So, but I thought it was a very good.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? So, somebody want to make a motion to accept the transportation plan?
I'll make a
Motion to accept.
Accepted transportation plan,
Quick.
and for you to present it to the county commissioners.
Second.
Okay, I have a second from Mr. Locker. Any discussion on the motion? I'll do it by roll call. Patty Robrick,
Aye.
Lynn Delahaye,
Aye.
Judy,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Jay. Aye. Joe.
Aye.
Thank you, sir. You're staying for the next hearing though, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brandy.
This was thorough. There's everything's in here.
Okay.
Could we do a 2-minute break?
Yep, we're gonna take a couple minute break to get the applicant a chance to get straight. Okay.
Was just briefing?
I knew it was, I want to say.
Okay, we'll get ready for the second hearing. Our second hearing this evening is for Laurel Glen Dunkin' Donuts Development, CSP 24-0428, to build a new Dunkin' Donuts building. Anybody that will be testifying or giving statements or anything tonight, if you'd stand at this time and I'll get you sworn in. Do you declare and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony, responses, and statements you may give will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Sean Lay, you got this?
Yes. Good evening. Agenda item 2 is a concept site plan, CSP 24-0428 Laurel Glen Dunkin' Donut Development. The concept site plan seeks approval of the 1,861 square feet Dunkin' Donuts development with 704 square feet outdoor seating. The site is located in Laurel Glen Shopping Center in California. The comprehensive plan is growth area. Land use area is mixed use high intensity. The zoning is MXH and PUDCP, high intensity mixed use and plan unit development commercial park. Development districts are primary growth center, urban in pattern, intensive residential, commercial, and industrial, supported by provision of community facilities. Type 7 MXH zoning district provide opportunities for high-density residential uses and appropriate non-residential uses in areas designated in the comprehensive plan. The allowed density floor area ratio is 0.7 with a maximum of 0.85 with TDRs. Urban in character. Plan unit development. A parcel or contiguous parcel of land of a size sufficient to create its own environment, to be developed as a single entity which is compatible with adjacent parcels and the intent of zoning district in which it is located. Relief from specific land use regulations and design standards may be granted, may have special features which will be of benefit to the community as a whole. Use type 74, an establishment that offers quick eat-in or take-out food service with limited menu and permitted in the MXH zone. As noted in the staff report, there are regulations that are applicable to the review of this project. Section 51.3, specific regulation and standards. Concept site plan has been reviewed. Minimum outdoor seating is 600 square feet. Design meets requirement. Schedule 32.1 development standards. Base density, landscaping area, usable open space. Undeveloped open space is not required. Design meets requirements. Chapter 63, landscaping and buffer yards. Landscaping minimum 20%. Buffer yards are not required. Staff finding, design meet requirements. Chapter 64, off-street parking and loading. Staff finding, design meet requirement. Chapter 71, resource protection. Staff finding, there are no sensitive area located on site. In order to approve the concept site plan, the Planning Commission shall make the findings that the proposed development is consistent with the comprehensive plan and applicable functional plans, may be served by adequate public facilities as required by Section 70.2.2, will promote health, safety, and welfare of the general public, adequately developed recreational and other community amenities are provided in accordance with the comprehensive plan, and the comprehensive zoning ordinance is consistent with CZO Chapter 62, Design Objectives. This concludes the staff report and is entered into the record of this public hearing as Exhibit 2. Mr. Alexson is here representing the applicant. Are there any questions for me?
Does anybody have any questions of staff? No. Thank you, Sean Lay. How you doing, sir? Could we get your name and business address, please?
Name's Anthony Olexon. Business address is 100 Gypsale Drive, Prince Frederick, Maryland.
Okay. You heard the staff report? It was
I did, sir.
pretty cut and dried. What,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I said the staff report was pretty cut and dried.
It is.
Okay.
Feel like overall it's a pretty cut and dry project itself. It's demolition of a portion of the parking lot there at the Laurel Glen Shopping Center. I'm sure you guys know how underutilized that parking lot is. So this is creating a standalone fast food restaurant, Dunkin' Donuts, that will go into its place with the drive-through that just also solves somewhat of a problem too. If you've ever been to that Dunkin' Donuts next to Blair's, it can be challenging to get in and out of. So this is a standalone on its own, just to kind of improve operations for the owner, Ms. Ikaza, as well as just kind of, again, revitalize that shopping center a little bit and create a new pad space for it.
Your Sundays once a month will be very busy down there, so, and you know what I'm talking about.
Ew.
So, that one. Cars and coffee.
Cars, yeah.
Yeah.
That parking lot, so.
And that was discussed with the landowner, Mr. Brown, who owns the shopping center as well. So that's been coordinated and we've been working very closely with the owner of the overall shopping center to kind of make sure that those things are coordinated with the tenants that are there today as well as
Well,
uses that come up.
the tenants come first, but there's plenty of room in there to do that and to do your business too.
Thank you, sir.
It'll be a win-win situation.
Absolutely.
Okay, is there anything you'd like to add?
Only if you have questions for me.
Does anybody have any questions of the applicant?
Not tonight.
Okay. Well, then we'll go ahead and open it up to public testimony. See if there's anybody out there that has any questions or statements they want to give at this time. And seeing none, I'll go ahead and close with public testimony. There's not much to rebut for you. I think this is a win situation for them if you've gone by Dunkin' Donuts in the morning, in the early mornings, real early mornings, which I do. There's always a problem with in that it's a mess. This will largely improve both people being able to get to a donut and getting in and out of there in a safe fashion. It's a mess. So anyway, that's good. Anybody else have anything?
Good plan.
Well, would anybody like to make a motion to accept?
We refined it.
Honor, it's your chance. Here we go.
In the matter of concept site plan CSP 24-0428, Laurel Glen Dunkin' Donuts Development, having accepted the staff report and having made the finding that objectives of section 60.6 of the comprehensive zoning ordinance have been met, I move that the concept site plan be approved with the following conditions. Any road improvements required by the state and county must be concurrent with the issuance of the certificate of occupancy.
Okay. I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. I have a second by Ms. Roebuck. Okay, we'll go for a call, a vote. Patty Roebuck?
Aye.
Lynn Delahaye?
Aye.
Judy Filius?
Aye.
Connor Lachlan?
Aye.
Jay Cousineau? Aye. Joe Van Kirk?
Aye.
It's unanimous, sir. Welcome
Thank
to
you.
the neighborhood. Watch out for your neighbors.
To it.
Thank you.
Okay. Before we get away from here tonight, Mr. Gotch, you don't have to come up if you don't want. I mean, you can if you'd like to. I'd appreciate it if you would, just so I can see you, because it's hard to see back there. I'd like to thank you for all the information, things you bring to the board, your care for the county, your care for this board. You're very good about explaining things. When you came in here, we knew we had somebody that could tell us how much something cost, how hard it was to build, where it should go, where it's going to go, and why why things went. You were very easy about your ease with explaining things was very good. We hadn't had that, we had, but you bring your own take on it, and your sense of humor is beyond approach there.
A little sarcasm with it.
No, sir. No, sir. I can't. It was a pleasure to have you serving the county
Thank
and
you.
doing that. We will miss you.
Leave?
Yes.
But we do thank you. I'm just speaking for myself. I like to speak for the board too. But done an exceptional job, Jim. We appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Ditto.
Hard shoes to have to step
Thank
into
you.
on the next one.
Huh?
It's gonna be tough shoes.
Whoever's coming is gonna.
I keep saying, maybe the next guy will be professional.
No, well, you've worked well with the men. You have your deputy director and assistant director, and I'm sure they will give whoever comes in there as much information as they provided for you when you started. I think you still have most of the same staff though, so you've had a good staff over the year.
Yeah, that office is outstanding. The Public Works office is just phenomenal. So you've got me, Donnie, Dan. We all came from the private side and came over here because we worked with the county for years and years and said, we see a couple things we'd like to change. And so most everybody is there just because they want to help the county. They want to do good things for the county. So there's a great department over there. And Donnie, as acting director, he's got his sarcasm too, so.
He does.
Yes, he does. Well, we hope to see you maybe in your retirement. You'll come out every now and then and take care of somebody or whatever, and I'm sure they'd be lucky to have you if you did. So,
All right, thank you.
Don't stay on that side of the bridge, over the other side of the bridge. Come over this side.
yeah, you gotta spend
You
some
mean if
time.
you on a sailboat if you drive over the bridge?
Yeah.
Again, thank you, Jim. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
You.
Okay.
Good luck, Jim.
Is there any other business? Motion to adjourn?
Make a motion. We adjourn.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.